het baie geleer uit die hele sessie uit en selfvertroue in myself gekry, alhoewel ek bietjie gehad het, maar ek het baie geleer en selfrespek en self vir jou kollegas met wie jy elke dag werk. En ja, en nou kan ek weer uitgaan en vir ander gaan vertel wat ek geleer het. En wil Rudolf promote aan ander mense, vir ander Motivational, om vir Rudolf te invite na hulle toe, en saam hulle te praat, different companies, mense wat ek ken. It was wonderful. Good represent, regop en streng en alles uitgesit en verstaanbaar, alles voor ons verstaanbaar gemaakt. Ja, so verstaan wat gesê was, woord vir woord, al was het in Engels, you must just, jy moet net ingeblend by die feit dat, ja.
Ek het baie geneem van die talk van vandag. Dit was baie oulik en inspirerend geweest. Daar's baie goedjies wat ek geleer het, soos jy moet wat jou emotions kontrol vat van jou nie, en jou goals en alles wat jy set, jy moet gaan daarvoor. Want ek is een van die goal van mense wat goals set, maar dan gaan ek nooit daarvoor nie. En vandag het ek weer eens het geleer dat ons kan daarvoor gaan en jy kan die beste maak daarvoor, want jy of ek myself is 'n champion. Dit is baie goed. Alles wat hy sê kan jy voel en hoor, dit kom van opreg af, dit kom van binne af. Alles wat hy sê dit nie omdat dit nog 'n werk is nie. Hy sê dit sodat jy moet vat of jy moet dit voel. Hy is regtig waar, dit kom diep uit die hart en jy kan hoor en voel dat dit is goed. Wat jy te dui met gesê is nie, hy kom self al van iets af, nou stap by die paadjie, dis soos ek kan sê, dat beskryfs begin en nou was jy hier.
I think the talk was very great, it was good, it was uplifting, and for me it's nothing that I don't know. I know it all, but it was like a wake-up call again for me. Yeah, as Nasma said, you set goals for yourself, but you don't do the things that you have to do because you're looking at your circumstances now and what is going around you now. But it's like to put that goals in place and to do what you put in place for yourself. It was great, it was awesome, and just to shout out that I'm a champion makes a difference, just that words. But yeah, you can shout it out, but you have to make it happen. The speaker is great. He's always putting myself on my toes. So when he's around, I have to be on my toes, but it's a good thing because it ignites something inside of you. It stirs something inside of you to be a better person and to make better goals and values for yourself. And I think, yeah, Rudolf, you are inspiring. It's like you don't allow people to stay where they are. You want them to succeed.
Everybody's still awake after that video? Okay, so today's session, actually, is going to be about where you are at the moment and where you want to be at the end of this year. Long-term, short-term goals, and whether you have goals or not. It's important. If you don't have goals, then I suggest you drown yourself, because there's no purpose for you. You need to have goals, whether it is big goals or whether it is small goals. You still need to have goals. The topic for today is the value of me. Now I want you to all start up your cell phones, take it off silent or whatever the case may be. Get on and go to Google, please. If you have your cell phone here. Whoever has a cell phone, please go to Google. Because these days everybody's got smartphones, isn't it? Now, okay, are we all there? I suppose we all know how to get to Google as quick as we can get to Facebook or Twitter or whatever it might be. Okay, so can you please type in your name and your surname, or everybody, do that. Type in your name and your surname in the Google search bar, and you press search. Okay. So, who's done? Okay. So, what comes up when you search yourself?
Dit gee soveel logikas as wat jy mis en as dit is nie en dan gee vir jou jou naam, dit gee vir jou op wat die social networks jy alles is.
Okay, cool.
En as jy iemand moet gaan en wys op foto's van jou.
Cool. Okay. Who else? Simon?
Foto van jezelf.
Een foto van jezelf en?
En dan moest ook andere mensen natuurlijk ook nog een plooitje van deze bij
Okay. So, Annika, what do you see? Basically other people and your Facebook page.
Yeah.
Am I right? Okay? Yeah. Okay, so, what did I say about you? Basically a whole lot of other people will say the same name as achieved stuff, and maybe mention there somewhere about your Facebook. Okay, so Facebook is #1 social media page in the world. So obviously if you search anything in your Facebook is the quickest avenue it will take. Okay. So basically, according to Google, if you want to search something, if you want to know something, they call it to Google it. Because if Google don't know, nobody knows. Am I right? So if you search yourself in Google and you barely find yourself, what does that mean? You don't exist. You are nobody. So as you sit here today, you are a nobody. Trust me. According to the world, www.google.com, you are a nobody. Type in my name and my surname, please. You know that 99.5% of all people only search the first page of Google. They do not go to page 2 if you want to find something. If you can't find it on the first page, you do not go to page 2. You rather type in something else. Okay. So, what do you see?
interview, short interview, training, speaker.
Oh, so I'm all over the show. So according to Google and the World Wide Web, do I exist?
Yes.
And what I do I exist? Do you know if anybody else type in my name and surname, whether they have the same name as me and the same surname, my stuff will come up. So if you're in Japan and you type my name and surname up, trying to find yourself, if you have the same surname and name as me, you're going to have to be able to settle with being me. Right now, you have to settle to be somebody else, because if you Google, you find somebody else. All right? How does that feel? Not good. You don't exist. You know why that is? Because number one, you have not made an impact, a real impact perceived by the world on the world. Your world is too small. It consists of you, your family, your work, home, you. And the cycle returns. Right? How difficult is it to get your name on Google? Not. You just have to start to do stuff. You have to put yourself out there. You have to try stuff. You have to participate in stuff. But what do? Now Facebook is right. Am I right? Good. Years ago, there were two salesmen sent to Africa, from England to Africa. They were shoe salesmen. They had to come and see whether there is business opportunity in Africa. Both of them came back, and they reported back to head office. And the one said, no, don't even bother. Don't try and go and captain the market in Africa, because nobody wears shoes there. It's not worth it. And the next salesman came in, he says, we need to get to Africa tomorrow, because nobody wears shoes there. Depends on how you look at it, how you see it. There's a lot of people that are extremely famous, rich, successful today. They start with nothing. Or they had a lot, they lost it, and they gained it again. So how do you do that? It's easy. You just don't accept being mediocre. You just don't accept being average. You have to feed that hunger within you, the purpose of life. There's a few famous people that failed a lot of times, but yet they ended up in history books because they did not give up. They set a goal and they went for it. Let's look at a few of them. Henry Ford, he went bankrupt 5 times, but he's the father of the automobile. But nobody tells you he went bankrupt 5 times, because, you know what? Statues do not get erected for people that is pessimist and negative and give up. Statues get erected of people that conquer, that achieve. They don't mention that they went bankrupt, whatever. It's the end result that matters. Walt Disney, he started off at a newspaper. He got fired because they said he didn't have any imagination. Disney World, he got fired. And he decided, you know what, nobody's going to tell me. I'm not going to be arrogant about it, but I am going to take my dream forward. Albert Einstein, he only started to walk when he was 4 years old, which is obviously all of you are educated teachers. If you only start to talk when you're 4 years old, you're deemed slow. This is Albert Einstein, ladies and gentlemen. So don't let somebody's opinion become your reality. If people say you're slow, people say you can't do stuff, it's an opinion, it's not reality. You are your reality. Elvis, in 1954, he performed at a nightclub, and the guy kicked him out. Said, "You do not know what you're doing." Elvis. Imagine when Elvis struck gold, how upset that club owner must have been. Do you know who that is? Steven Spielberg. He was rejected at university and started movie directing, but finished his degree in 2002. 55 years old. 55 years old, he went back. He had enough money, he didn't need it. Why? Because he had a hunger, and he decided to say, you know what? My life is what I want to achieve. I will work hard, I will allow people to have an opinion, but that's it. It's not reality. Okay, so today we established that pretty much everybody here is a nobody. Alright? You don't exist to the world. You don't exist to the world. Maybe to your immediate family, but you do not exist to the world. If you want to make an impact, you're going to have to exist to the world. There's 3 things that you need to do before you can become somebody. You need to focus on your values, your discipline, and your contribution. And I want to park a little bit there. If I had to ask you to list your personal values, then all the smart stuff will come up. Alright? All the nice stuff. But you know what? We all know Judas. Am I right? Judas, the man that sold Jesus out. We all are Judases here. You know why? Because in Afrikaans they say die dealer is so goed soos die stealer. Now if we subject ourselves to gossip, and we don't stand up and say, hey, stop that. Why are you doing that? They're as good as the dealer as the stealer. We don't say anything, we're just there. If we side with a negative attitude, whether it's family members or people at work or whatever the case may be, if we go with that, people as negative and say, oh, if this person is my friend or my sister or my brother, I don't know how to check the apple cart, let me also be negative. I don't know why. It's like it's when people do a demonstration in Cape Town. The front of the people dancing in the streets are passionate. The people at the back, they hope there's free food. They don't know why they're there, but that's what most of the people are like that. They just join. Well, This one is negative, let me be negative. Or this one gossips, let me gossip. Or let me just sit there and say nothing. What are you actually doing when you don't say anything? You're selling out your values. You are actually changing your values. So if I'm trustworthy and I am honorable, I'm fair, and I don't stand up for what is right, what am I doing? I'm selling out my values. Or maybe you didn't have the values to begin with. It's not nice when you look in the mirror and you tell yourself, I do not have good values. Have a nice day. It's not a nice feeling, is it? The problem is, if you want to be successful, you're going to have to stick with your values, good or bad. You're going to have to stick with that. At some point, that's the only thing that's carrying you is your values. If you have a value that says that you're hardworking, then 2 o'clock in the morning, when everybody's sleeping and you're dead tired, but you have to finish this thing, that hardworking value is going to carry you through. You're going to have to be honest with yourself about your values. I want you to think about your values and reevaluate that. Look yourself in the mirror and say, okay, this happened today. I was standing at the bus stop, and these 2 people next to me were talking bad about somebody. I didn't even know the person. Did I say something or didn't I? Because if I didn't, I just Judaized my values. You know, there's a quick escape to say, it's not my business, it's not my place. What are you doing? You're creating a new value for you, which is unfortunately a negative value. But think about that. If you were the topic of discussion, when people gossip, or people had something to say, if you were the topic of discussion, would you have appreciated if somebody there would have stood up for you? You would have, man. So why can't you be that one? Why can't you be the pig in the stick and say, you know what, guys, I love you, I like you, you're my family. You're my mother, my brother, my sister, you're my co-worker, you're whatever. But you know what? What you do is wrong. Huh? You're standing in my way. You're wasting your breath. You're standing in my way of making progress. So the important thing is you need to get your values straight before you can do anything. And the easiest way to get your values straight is to every morning stand in front of the mirror and say, yesterday this happened, and this is how I reacted on it. If you feel good about that, A for away. If you feel some sort of doubt and you feel bad about it, then you know you've sold yourself out. You're born Judas Bikes, as an example. You know what I mean? It doesn't sound like you don't appreciate that. Am I right? Do yourself a favor, look in the mirror and just tell yourself that. It doesn't sit well. The second one is discipline. Now if you say discipline, the word discipline, a lot of people think Amistal, Achatos. Am I right? Early up, late to bed, hard work, blah, 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 blah. That's not what discipline is. That's totally wrong. Discipline is to execute to perfection with what you are busy. Even if you're watching TV, pay attention. It means that you're actually executing. You understand what's happening there. If you're walking, do you walk like this or do you walk like this? It's a discipline. Simple stuff. Discipline is everything that you do, the way you talk, the way you walk, the way you listen, the way you think. The most difficult thing to do is to discipline your mind. Is to put your mind in place. Because what does your mind do? It latches onto anything it can. It's like these jelly babies. If it lays in the sun, if you throw it into the wall, it sticks there. That's what your mind does. So, your brother says, ooh, December is finished, I have to go back to work. That's what the whole year for leave. What does your mind do? Your mind latches onto what he says. And on your way to work, you're like, and you mention it to the person next to you. And what does that person's mind do? The same thing. Your mind is like a sponge. It doesn't have a will of its own. You have to direct your mind. So what you do is you have to have the discipline to block yourself off to external influences. So if people come and they mention something, they say something, or they have an opinion about you, what do? Blah, 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 blah. But they done it and said, well, I didn't really hear what you said, it's nice to see you. That's what I do. If somebody is not contributing to my success or my life, adding value, I will say hi and bye and that's it. That's it. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to even speak to you because you know what? You are wasting my time. You're wasting my time. Absolutely. How much time do you have on earth? Can anybody tell me? Case in point. You don't know. But yet you're willing to waste it. We're willing to waste. We're willing to sit and do anything negative that we can. Break down, be negative, be lazy, gossip, whatever the case may be. And I'm not only pointing fingers to you, I'm talking in general. You open a newspaper, it's kill, murder, negative, bad finances, blah, blah, blah. You go to the sports page and we lost again. It's negative, 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 negative. And now and then there'll be like a little bit of a comedy show on TV with like artificial positiveness, and then tomorrow is negative, negative, negative. Your mind needs to be disciplined to block all of that out. To focus on what you want. It's very, very important. Focus on what you want. And it starts with the smallest thing. It starts right here, or right there, or those two there. That's where it starts. The way you walk, the way you talk, the way you think. What you think, you say. What you say, you do. And what you do is who you are. So, let me see. Who of you are trustworthy? By show of hands, please. I would hope everybody. Who's trustworthy? Now show me. Don't be scum. Show me who's trustworthy. Sorry, only people. Okay, you got a bit of a problem. Okay. Who's honorable? No, show me. I want to see who is honorable. Honorable. Sure. Word. Okay. Honorable. What is honorable? Eerbaar. Eerbaar. Okay. Who's hardworking? Okay. So, we know we are these things. But do we have the capability to discipline ourselves to stick to that? To tell ourselves that every 5 minutes of the day, you know what? I'm hardworking. I'm focused. I'm disciplined. I'm honorable. Or do we think that, but we do something else? Absolutely. And you know what? Let me tell you something. If you sit in this room today and you are the biggest skinnerbag, safe in the Sahara, you know why people entertain that of you, whoever it is, or if there's nobody here, I'll just say it. You know why people listen to you if you are skinnerbag? Do you know why? Because they feel too bad to tell you to wake up. They just rather, whatever. You think you're entertaining people. Sad to say. They feel too bad to tell you to your face, shut up! Wasting my time. Yeah. So, just think about it. Get home, go to your neighbor, say to them, you know those people across the road, they are so deep in debt, but they bought another car again. How did they do that? And then you know what? The neighbor stands there with a house pipe and they're like, oh my word, just get done. You are so wasting my time. Watering the garden, want to enjoy the day. You know, you just waste 15 minutes, 15 seconds of the day mentioning that. My question is, what is going to change if you keep on talking about that? Nothing. Until you stand up and you do something. Why didn't you walk to the neighbor and say, hey, if you can borrow money from me again, I'll hit you with my head. Because you don't have money to buy this car. Why did you do that? Because we're sissies. We brav behind closed doors, but we're sissies in front of other people. Alright? So again, we've done that before. Who's actually gone to somebody and said, hey, listen, you know what, let me tell you something.
Thank you.
Yeah.
There we go. Good for you. My question is, if she does that, what do you think of her? What do you think of her? If she tells you straight, hey, what to your face, what do you think of her? Says what? Says on the score, but what else? That's Anthea. Can you trust Anthea? Why can you trust Anthea? Because you know what you have in her. But the inner what feels smile as you know what you've been worrying for. Well, that's the one you have to worry about. So if people's like, I'm standing in the office, they're like, hey, how are you? How's everything? I'm like, okay. Honestly, you don't ask my wife. I get very on the spot. Because you're wasting my time. Don't come and buck boy cookies with me. Honestly. I'll be straight for the job. Listen, I don't like what you did there. Don't appreciate that. Let's move on. But we are not disciplined enough to do that. Because we're scared that someone's going to think funny of us. No, Anthea, you know what? I like you. And everybody appreciates it. Am I right? Because you know where you stand with Anthea. The last one is your contribution. What have you contributed to the world yesterday? What have you contributed? What have you done? What have you done to change the world? Or did you just go through emotion and you live in la la land from payday to payday? And then unfortunately there's too much money by the end of the money in some cases. You don't manage to get out with your money. You struggle with food at the table. Maybe you have enough money but you're not happy. Why is that? Why would you think that is? The reason for that is the way you contribute. Remember, everything we have is a gift from God. And the way we handle it, your speech, your hearing, your abilities, your skills, your money, everything is a gift. How do you apply yourself to that? What are you going to do with that? Because if you are in a bad space at the moment, go back and go, look, how did you contribute? Not to only other people, but to you yourself. Do you develop your skill? Do you help other people to develop their skill? Do you educate yourself? Do you go forward? Do you have a plan? Look, if you have to get to heaven today, and God asks you, okay, so you can come into this day, and you can tell me what was your goals for 2015. Who of you is going to pass? Because we don't have any. Setting up goals and putting things in place is part of contribution, because it does not only influence you, but as well as the people around you. You know that in 2014 January, I had a knee operation. You guys remember I was looking around here. Yeah. And the doctor said, listen here, you must not leave the run story, that's out, no running. And I decided, you know what? Let me see if that's true. And I started rehabilitation, I started exercising, and I started slowly but surely walking in, etc., etc. And last week or the week before that, I entered the Cape August and I entered the EP challenge. So Jeanette immediately told me, are you crazy? You're not supposed to run. And you know what the thing is? I wake up 6 days a week, 4 o'clock in the morning. On Saturday I go to Constantia Mountain and I go run out the mountain. I'm back at 7:30 before anybody wakes. And you know why I do that? It's because the doctor had an opinion. That is not my reality. Yes. And you know what? I will stand up every day and I will beat your ass down every single day if you come up against me. That's how I live. Do you think when I enter a room, people get the suspicion? Tread lightly. Why is that? Because that's the way I carry myself. That's the way I educate myself. That's the way I back myself. That's the way I practice. That's what I do. You come up against me, I will beat you down one time. Have I been beaten before? Yes. But I come back every time until I beat you. How many times have you done that? How many times have you done that? Have you been paralyzed before? Who's been paralyzed before?
My mom.
Okay, but you haven't. Okay. Now imagine you've been paralyzed, how much you'll appreciate walking afterwards. But yet, we have not been paralyzed, but we have been overweight. It's fine. Am I right? It's fine. It's okay. I'm not pointing fingers, I'm saying in general. We have been being overweight because life is life. Let's enjoy life a little bit. You know what? You weren't meant to be overweight. You weren't meant to be negative. You weren't meant to have no goals. You weren't meant for that. Your life has a purpose. And you can live that purpose only if you have your values right, get your discipline your mind, and contribute with your discipline, your skills, and everything that you have. Are you floating along, or are you the two that's sinking the ship? Or are you the three that's actually pulling that thing along? In any organization, only 50% of the people are actually pulling their weight. In any household, only 30% of people are pulling their weight. In any society, only 30% of people are pulling their weight. Now, where do you fit in that boat? You can go home and you can think about that. Where do you fit in that boat with your values? Does your values put you in the first three that's actually pulling your weight? Or lagging, or sinking it? You're a small crack, just a small little crack can sink the biggest ship. Are you that crack? Who's it? I want you to go home and go think about it. Are you that crack? Am I responsible for sinking the ship? Not only at work, but in society, at home. You know that you are your own business. Are your self-doubt or your fears or your lack of motivation or lack of goals the cause of sinking your ship? The ship that's you. It's bad if you want to sink your employer or your community or your home life, but it's even worse if you want to sink yourself, undoubtedly. But your actions, your values, everything you do are causing that. So you can every day, did I sink the ship? Or did I actually weld that crack closed? Did I close the crack? When you go home, think about that. Every day. Did I see the crack today? Or did I create the crack today in the ship? My life. Did I do that? As you waste your breath complaining, making negative statements or gossiping, as you do that, for 10 seconds, it takes you to do that. Someone out there is taking their last breath. Appreciate what you have and make it count. It's about appreciating it and making it work, taking it. Doesn't matter where you come from. Doesn't matter what happened in your past. It matters where you are going. Where you are going. There you go. That makes you feel good now, isn't it? It's a nice feeling knowing that you are contributing to society. You make a difference every single day you're here. Every day you make a difference. You might not see it. Some days you might think, oh my word, what did I let myself in for? But you are making a difference every day. Why don't you claim it? Why don't you own it? Why don't you vote on that? It's yours to take. It's yours to take. Nobody else, doesn't belong to anybody else. It's you. You are coming here. You're making a difference. Take it. Make it work. Doesn't matter how many times you get beat down or how many people have an opinion about you. You are your own machine and you can run whenever you want. Nobody can tell you what to do or where to be or where to end up. You set your goals. You achieve your goals. This is management intervening, helping you, saying, you know what, you can be far more than what you are. I will be here once a month on a designated date that you guys have said. I will be here, and if there is one person here, I will be here for you. Because that's my contribution. Somebody did it to me, and I'm very, very thankful that somebody did it to me. It's my opportunity to give back. I will be here. I will teach you how to work with money. I will teach you how to invest. I will teach you how to act. I will teach you how to present. I will teach you how to carry yourself. I will teach you how to become a millionaire. I promised myself when I was 30 years old, I would have been a millionaire. And I became 30 years old and I was a millionaire. A minus millionaire. I owned the bank of millionaire. Do you think I sat there and I was like, I'll never recover from this? If you had to have $1 million day today, do you think you'll ever recover from that? Maybe 30 years later, if it's a bond. You know, the sad reality is that you would have paid that $5 million. You'll be a millionaire 5 times over. You can be a millionaire if you start today. With the right assistance and help and guidelines, you can be a millionaire today. And if money is not the motivation, you can be a better person, you can be a bigger influence, you can help so many other people make a difference in their life.